individuals from an organization called Step by Step, which is an organ transplant association. And with me seated at the head table is the co-founder and the volunteer with that organization, George Marcello, who I understand in discussion with him is a recipient of a transplant himself, having received a kidney about 5 years ago. A liver transplant about 5 years ago. And so he is living proof that organ transplants work. George started with his group in a walk across Canada back on June the 20th last year and continue to make their way. I don't know how they managed to arrive in Moose Jaw on such a balmy day, but we're glad to have them with us this morning. We're going to invite George to speak to us, and he will introduce his guests to us. And so George, would you come, and let's give him a warm Rotary welcome.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the Rotary Club. I want to first of all thank you for having me attend a luncheon and breaking bread with everybody here. I want to introduce my road crew. To my left, we have Brandon Morrison from Fort Francis. And the fellow that's doing the camera work, we're doing a documentary, and we're hopefully going to hope that it'll be a very inspirational documentary, is Travis Martin, also from Fort Francis. And our newest addition isn't here right now. Where's little Stephen?
You went to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Little Stephen actually met us when we were coming into Moose Jaw, and I saw this young fellow sort of following us on the side. He was trying to make sure that we weren't seeing him, but I kind of caught him, and after a while I just said, you know, come on the road and join us. And he carried the torch in, which is an Olympic torch that our mayor from Toronto, I'm from Toronto and it's not my fault, our mayor Mal Lassman ceremoniously lit that torch on our kickoff day on June 20th, and since then he passed it on to a person that was on the waiting list, and that person passed it on to another person, and it's gone through thousands of hands so far and carried into over 140 cities and towns. And it's been received by over 130 mayors, so we're going to take that occasion after we're finished here, Your Honor. That's okay?
That's fine.
Thank you. So I just want to tell you a little bit about our campaign. It first started, I guess, when I found out 8 years ago that I had terminal liver disease, and that was after a bi-yearly medical checkup, and I was feeling really fine that day too when I went into the doctor's office. And I'm a fitness promoter. I, you know, pretty well maintain all the right foods to eat, and I exercise quite regularly, and thought I was in tip-top shape. So anyways, I came away from that visit with news that my liver was failing me, and I only had a couple of years left to live. And he also told me that there was no prevention or treatment, as is the case with most liver diseases, and there's over 100 liver diseases. So it was a virus that I picked up when I was a young child, and it just sort of went to sleep and decided to wake up in 1992. As I found out that, you know, I was in this grim situation, I also found out that I did have a chance, and that chance was an organ transplantation. So I started finding out everything about organ transplantation at that time, and couple of things I did find out that, first of all, Canada was suffering when it came to organ transplantation because we had a big shortage, and we were one of the lowest when we're compared to other countries. We're one of the lowest in the civilized world. And the other thing, thank you, and the other thing, it's starting to hurt my ears too. And the other thing was that it is very difficult to get on the waiting list also because of the shortage. So in 1994, I received a call from the doctor once again, and he told me that he had some good news and bad news. The good news was that they finally were putting me on the waiting list, and the bad news was that after looking at my latest blood work, I only had a few months left to live. So somehow I outlived his prediction, and but I was rushed to the hospital 3 times with liver failure. It was in August of '95 that I think was my final time I was getting rushed to the hospital, because it was at that point that the doctor said I only had 2 days left to live. And at that time I pretty well, you know, counted all my blessings and made my peace and, you know, made my funeral arrangements, as most people do that are on the waiting list. The next day an organ did become available, and you know, when I received that call that there was an organ available, I knew I was one of the very lucky Canadians to get that call, because I met so many people that were on that waiting list, women, children, men, from all walks of life, that weren't receiving that call and were passing away. So I knew also what it took to get that call. Somebody had to pass away, and the family had to make a very courageous and unselfish decision when they were approached. And that decision not only saved my life, but it saved 5 other people's lives. And I want to just let you know a little bit a little more about what that decision did. It brought a lot of joy to my family, and it brought a lot of joy to my friends. And I'm sure it brought a lot of joy to the families and friends of the other 5 individuals also. So we're looking at one decision can positively affect over probably 1,000 people. Isn't that amazing? You know. So when I woke up after that surgery, I got out of the hospital pretty quick. I was recovering very rapidly. I got out of the hospital in 10 days, and I was back in the gym working out in 3 months. And that's a miracle, you know. So what we have in Canada and the rest of the world is a cure. It's called organ transplantation. And 90%, 95%, and actually I was reading the latest statistics, 95% of medical communities around the world are proclaiming that it's a cure. We have a pretty high success rate. When somebody receives an organ, there's a very good chance that they'll not only survive, but they're going to get their healthy life back. They're going to go back to work. They're going to enjoy living a full life, you know. So we have a cure in our hands. But for probably many reasons, we have this big shortage in Canada. You know, we are having a lot of people that have been on the waiting list that are suffering, passing away, and families that are suffering, watching their loved ones pass away. So after I received this incredible gift, I wanted to do my part to help change that. And it didn't come to me right away exactly what I was supposed to do, but I knew I was going to do something. And I guess sometimes life has a way of, there's destiny in people's lives, and I guess this became a destiny for me, because what happened 2 years after, when I got out and I was trying to see what I can do. I was going to the hospital trying to help people that were on the waiting list, talking to them, and doing everything I can